everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos podcast. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast. On this show, we look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, and Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We have some good shit for you today, but first I have to read out our newest patrons. These are people who gave us $5.
One of the coolest things a person can do is give us 5 big ones.
They went to patreon.com/animesickos, gave us $5, and they are about to get the only benefit, which is we'll say their names. And the first name I'll say, this guy actually gave us Australian dollars, so it's like fucked up. I don't know. Is William Reynolds. William Reynolds, thank you for your upside down dollars.
Thank you. We won't be able to spend this money, but we will certainly look at the kangaroo on it.
Yes, you're your prime minister. Our next patron. Oh, this is a slam dunk for me. It's Freddie. Just Freddie. I say that with confidence that I'm pronouncing this correctly. Freddie, thank you.
Thank you, Freddie.
And then our final new patron. This one's kind of badass because I'm pretty confident that this person is named Nick Maragos, but here's the thing. Nick, I think the reason I'm confident and not sure is that Nick is spelled like the beginning of Nicholas, N-I-C-H. It could be like Lich, where it's niche. Like this guy's really carved out a niche in terms of Maragoses.
But he $5 though still, right?
$10 actually. This guy's twice as cool as all the other guys.
He is, as far as I'm concerned, he is a lich. He can do whatever magic he wants for $10.
Yeah, you don't actually try to kill him. But if you did, you wouldn't succeed. But don't try. Thank you to all of our lovely patrons giving us fucking money to do the show. It's really cool. You may have seen on Twitter that I'm fucking finally like doing shit for the next secret project. And if it's anything like the last one, which it will be, it's going to cost a lot of dollars. And so it's good to know where they're fucking coming from so I can like spend the appropriate budget and not feel like I'm wasting money.
Yeah, we're fully prepared for a really fucked ROI.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. This is the stupid ambition.
We're subsidized by your faith and your dollars. Anyway, Joe, the reason we're here today specifically for this episode is because you'll recall before on an earlier episode, we took, a very fraught thing that has a lot of debate and cultural baggage attached to it, which is to say games criticism. And we fixed it. We showed you the right way to do it that always works.
Yeah, no longer do people go to Metacritic and get upset that Tony Hawk 2 has a high number or whatever people care about.
Yeah, no, we figured that out. No one talks about that anymore because it's done. People were clamoring, do the same for other things, but they don't understand that, we talk about anime, gaming, posting, and jobs, and for a long time, like, movies, like, they don't fit into any of that. I mean, we've made jokes in the past that, like, movies are anime, but they're just that. They're jokes. When it's time to get serious and perfect criticism, no jokes. But there's been an incredible development lately, which is that now movies have become posting.
Yes. The change that caused this is that Letterboxed is, I guess, this site where you post words that make people like you about David Lynch. Is that my understanding?
Yeah. You got to say something really insightful about Inland Empire, and then the girls who like Goodfellas. I told you there were some.
The babes.
They're going to send you DMs. They're going to be like, please send me dick pics. Like, I need them right now. And then you'll feel very, very powerful. That's my understanding. I don't have a Letterboxd account, but everything I see suggests this.
Yeah, and imagine with Elon buying Twitter as of like today, there's going to be more people moving to Letterboxd exclusively for the sexy reasons we just mentioned.
Yeah. And you don't want to. One thing you don't want to do, you do not want to become fodder for those alpha Letterboxd users to screen cap your reviews of a Marvel movie where you're like, I think this is good. My brain thinks that this movie is very smart. They're going to fucking roast you. Going and doing that shit. Like, going half-cocked on Letterboxd and throwing out opinions that you haven't vetted through our perfect system That's as though you went up to a group of 8th graders with the dumbest shoes of all time and said, "Hello, I will never become humiliated." And they just like, their eyes just start bleeding and they start floating an inch off the ground.
If you try to be smart on Letterboxd without like the proper process, you're just putting your whole ass head on the chopping block.
I don't know anything about this guy, but he's got an incredible name, which is Lights Camera Jackson. I don't know if he's good or not. I think people roast him, but maybe they like him. I don't know. But that's the kind of thing that you might become. You might become Lights Camera Jackson. Don't you want to be prepared. You want to go into this knowing that your film criticism is going to be perfect and objectively true.
Which we have created using our brains and citations.
Yeah. So you'll recall last time we came up with an incredible theory. We applied it to, a text that, the example, the use case that proves it's true. So you recall that we applied all of our video game criticism points to Breath of the Wild. So we're going to do the same thing, where we're going to run you through a rubric of questions. You are going to want to ask these questions of every movie you watch, and you're going to want to get the correct answer for them. The amount of correct answers the movie provides equals how good it is. The text that we're going to use as our example is The Northman, directed by Robert Eggers.
The Northman was the first movie I have seen in theaters since the event.
Yeah. The last movie I saw in theaters, I realized this as we were fucking going into the theater, was Parasite, with you. And also we ate ramen after that also, like we did this time.
We have a little ritual, I guess.
We were hanging out one day and we were like, I want to see the fucking Northman. Like, let's go. We'll probably not catch Rona. We were one of the few masked peoples in the goddamn theater. Everyone just had their whole muzzles out. It was scary. But we like accidentally booked tickets in the Oops All Recliners theater.
Those are the nicest chairs I've ever sat in. They were heated. They had a reclining function, and then there was a little button that had 3 lines that could look like stink lines, but they were actually heat lines.
Yeah. I didn't know about any of this, because like when we got the tickets, I noted like, how come there's so many fucking icons next to the times? Because there was like a big ass bar of icons, and I'm like, I'm not gonna give a fuck about what these icons mean. I guess one of those icons meant that you're in the all recliners theater, because we went fucking in, and like, as you say, the most comfortable chair I've sat in my life at a base. But then I saw some motherfucker next to me press a button that made it go bzzz. And yeah, you do the full recline. You're basically lying fully down.
In public.
The most comfortable you could possibly be.
It is worth noting we did sit in the wrong row. We were in row DD and we were in CC.
We thought it meant
closed captioning.
Yeah, like you can turn on captions if you want in this row. And I'm like,
I don't know why we thought that.
I don't know, because it was 10 and 11, and there's so few fucking recliners in that theater that I'm like, there's probably only 110 and only 111. And here they are. No, but it was all good. It was all good. So yeah, we saw the movie. We're just to let you know, we're going to be fucking spoiling a lot of it, but this is not really a plot heavy movie. It's a spectacle.
You want to see the spectacle.
Exactly. Oh, but is it good or not? We'll never tell. You'll have to wait and see as we go through our rubric. But yeah. The fucking Northman. So the first thing in our perfect film criticism rubric, the first question you're going to have to ask any movie that you are watching is, does it say the word multiverse?
That's a deal breaker. It absolutely cannot say that shit. The previews
got to be
before, no. The previews before the Northman, did all of them say multiverse? I really feel like every single fucking one said multiverse.
It really felt like it was a heavy theme that you couldn't escape from. And then the worst of all, of course, is the Doctor Strange movie that literally has multiverse in the title. Which, like, when the fucking big title card came up before it was clear, like, what this is for, and it said, like, from Sam Raimi, and you were like, oh, cool. And
I really got punished. got punished.
That was he was wasted on that fucking Drek. I will say though. So clearly everyone understands and immediately agrees with us. Everyone thinks we're a genius for having this be the first question. But I can foresee that some people might say, Tom, isn't that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once like really good? Isn't that all about multiverses? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I hear that it is really good. This, however, does not invalidate our grading rubric, because if it is good, what that means is it's a credit to how good it is that it still comes out positive, even after starting with so many negative points. Like, it starts deep in shit zone and has to, like, crawl its way back to zero before it even starts getting good. And if it then ends up really good, like, that's a lot of skill that the movie showed.
It overcame a lot to do that.
Exactly. And some folks might further note, isn't your RPG podcast, Shuffle Quest, like, explicitly about multiverse? Isn't like that the only thing it's about? Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's on us. We'll be the first to admit that.
Yeah, we're not perfect. No one's. I'm not saying I'm a great filmmaker. I wouldn't fucking pass this rubric, I tell you what.
Okay, multiverse aside, it doesn't say the awful word. The next question you have to ask yourself: does the main character chant his motivation over and over like 10 times?
These days, all of us are so fucking dumb. You can't expect anyone to intuit things based on nuance and suggestion. I sure can't fucking do it. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that, you know, if you have a protagonist in your movie, he's going to want something. He's going to have a goal. You're going to want that protagonist to scream it like 100 times in a row, like word for word. And the Northman does this so well, because we start off with our guy, the Northman. He's a little princeling. His dad's the king. His mom's the queen. He's so happy being the little prince. And then, his uncle, Fjolnir, kills the king and tries to kill him, but he escapes and he gets on a little boat to flee. And while he's on the little boat, he says, "I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir. I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir." This goes on for like a full minute. And by the end of it, I'm just like, oh, wait a minute. Does this guy want to avenge his fucking father?
Basically, he starts chanting that when the boat is very close to the camera, and he just paddles away until he is gone in the distance. And the entire time, he is chanting motivation.
I gotta tell you, it sticks. Like, I remember the name Fjolnir from this movie.
Yeah, I don't remember the main guy. I don't remember the kid's name. I remember the bad guy's name.
Because anytime that they say the Northman's name, they're saying it like in normal speech. And they're saying it in some weird Norse accent. So automatically, like, the accent is making things less intelligible. And then secondly, this is a movie made in the last 20 years. So, like, half the dialogue's inaudible, just
so like, mumbly.
Just from the jump. So anytime they say the guy's name, it's like, "Oh, hello, when I see you're here." And it's like, no one is yelling his name. Like, I will kill main character here. No, "I will kill you, Fjolnir." Well, I hear that because you yelled that 10 times.
It's very important because sometimes people don't pay attention. But they definitely will get the message if you repeat it enough times.
Yeah,
that's just good communication.
For example, like, I was really nervous. I hadn't gone to the movies in a lot of times. I was nervous that I was going to have to piss in the middle of it and miss some critical part. And wouldn't you know it, exactly that happened. So I was like, I don't know what the guy's motivation is. He just said some shit about Fjolnir. I don't know what that is. That's too subtle for me. I got to go piss. I'll have Joe explain it when I get back. So I went and I pissed, and I came back, and I sat in my seat, and he said, "I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir," about 20 more times. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, no, I got it. So that was really convenient for me.
No surprises then. You never wonder, like, I wonder why he's doing that. Just think back to when he was on the boat saying what he was going to do.
Yeah. I know this is another reason why we don't feel guilty about spoilering a currently in theaters movie. It's like, it's like, folks,
it's a revenge story. It's a revenge story, and there's going to be revenge. Like, that is not a surprise to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a point for the Northman. That's a second point. It doesn't talk about fucking multiverses, and it has the main character shout his motivation as loud as he can 100 times. Another thing you're going to want to ask of the movies you've watched is, does it have fucking farting jokes?
Yeah. There's farts in this. There's one fart.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So what's the deal with this fucking farting scene?
Okay, so the reason why the fart is important is they do a ritual with William Dafoe, who is playing, I don't know, himself, I guess.
Yeah. He didn't get a script. He's just there.
And they were doing this sort of...
Oh, you know what it is? It's Bowfinger, where he doesn't know they're making a movie, and they're tricking him into just behaving normally.
So the soon-to-be-killed king and the princeling, a.k.a. the Northman, he's like, what, 11 at this point or something?
Yeah, he's a little guy.
They are doing this ritual where William Dafoe's character puts a bunch of weird goop on 2 plates, and he's like, "You're dogs, you dog people. You
You're
gotta
puppies."
eat the dog slop and go woof woof." And they do, because, I don't know, because there aren't video games yet.
Yeah.
And after they eat for a while, William Dafoe says something to the effect of, like, "Show me now that you are not just a dog. Show me that you are a man wearing a dog body," or some shit like that. And
I took it to be like, "Show now that you're in puppo mode. You're a doggo now." He says pupper. What if he did though? For real, that would be fucking fun. No, he's like, you are beast now, but can you now change back to man? Something like that. And Ethan Hawke, the dad, does a big, like, guttural belch that, like, lasts for a funny long time.
Yeah, William Dafoe is like, "You passed the test." And then the princeling, the 11-year-old boy, like, you see him, like, trying to charge of a burp, but he actually just does a huge fart. And guess what? That counts too. The ritual is complete.
Now, anyone watching, like, this is a movie that's, about a distant culture, both distant geographically and sort of chronologically, where a lot of the sort of assumptions and feelings and ideologies are so alien to us as modern people that it's extremely difficult to sort of put yourself in that position. So it seems very, like, alien. However, I think anyone at any time can really just intuitively understand that, like, dogs don't fart, only people do that. So
yeah. A dog has never farted. That's just not real.
The next thing you're going to want your movie to give you, the question you're going to have to post your movie, is there a time skip / power up? Like, is there a Shippuden of the movie in the movie?
Yeah, luckily, the Northman does it very well.
Yeah, because after his little speech, you recall it was about something about avenging his father, saving his mother, and killing Fjolnir. We fucking skip ahead to when he's buff as fuck.
Yeah, he's with a bunch of other Viking guys, and the way they introduce him and how he's strong is, first of all, they do this berserker ritual, which, like, for all purposes, they just, like, chant, "We're sicko mode, we're sicko mode, we're sicko mode, we're sicko mode."
They do our bumper from when there's 2 segments in one episode. They do that.
They do that before they go raid a little crappy village. But we get to see how powerful the previously little 11-year-old boy has become.
Yes, yeah. And not only is it dope that there's a Shippuden in the movie, but a critical point of a good Shippuden, where you got your time skip and your power up, is the first thing that your powered up character has to do is just, like, effortlessly do the dopest fucking shit you've ever seen in your life, as though his enemies could give no resistance whatsoever. Only then can you actually introduce like problems that your character has to struggle with. Like the first thing has to just be like smooth like butter.
So what happens is frankly one of the sickest things I've seen in a movie in a long time. They are doing their berserk shit outside of the palisade walls, and there's a guy on the palisade who throws a spear at him, and he catches it and in one smooth motion throws it back at him, killing the guy.
Headshotting the guy.
And the velocity of the spear, like how it was filmed, felt so cool. Like I was obviously like melting into my seat because it's better than my bed. But when that happened, I stood up a little bit. I was like, "Oh shit!"
I raised my hands above my head in trying. And you know what it really was? It was like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm watching a movie. Like this isn't just a movie. This is a movie. And that sort of slides directly into the next question you have to ask of all movies you watch: is there sick melee fight?
There has to be sick melee fights, and it's all this fucking movie is, basically. It's melee fights, and then the only thing that changes is how naked people are.
Yeah. And the thing is, he starts off this melee fight, like, well, he starts it off with that fucking spear shit, which is the dopest thing I've ever seen in my life. And, like, when he then goes to sort of attack this little fucking palisaded village, you'll see that his only weapon is this, like, bitty-ass little hatchet. Like, it looks like baby. It looks like it's a gardening tool. Yes. And you're like, how is he going to do a sick melee fight with this? Easily, it turns out. It's the dopest thing I've seen in my life.
The way he walks through the village, he has no urgency in his pace, which is what makes it so amazing. Like, he's obviously, like, Mr. Kill Guy, and he's dispatching people who are trying to stop him, but his gait is, like, it would never even occur to him that he might need to move faster.
There's so many times when arrow rushes by his head, and like the movement that he does to dodge, and the no sell on his face of like, oh, I'm scared. Like he does not give a shit that there was an arrow that just went by. He just moved his head 1 inch, and it's like, now I will continue walking at the same speed. Why would I do anything else? It's such a fucking cheap sleight of hand, because I know they just put the fucking arrows in CGI in post, and they just were like, hey, every once in a while, like, bob your head from side to side for like no reason. It'll look cool later. Like, I know that's what happened, but in the same way that I can watch a magic trick, even if I know kind of how they do it, and I just fucking start yelling like an ape, that was me then.
I think the reason the arrow dodging was especially so cool in that scene is because one of them happens as he's like turning around a corner, so it's like he wouldn't even get a chance to see it coming.
He just knows. He's that good. He's that in tune with the earth because he's become a wolf spirit or some shit by saying sicko mode. It's fucking dope. I love melee fight.
So when we came up with our gaming rubric, we were very clear that like a good game is about upgrading a little town, which I stand by. But movies, it's the opposite. It's about downgrading a little town. A good movie is about upgrading a little town.
Yeah, it's taking all the upgrades away. And boy howdy, the Northman fucking hits a grand slam on that one. Because what happens is, after the Northman is doing his raiding, he's just sort of living a hollow life. Raiding, because why not? Because all of his homies do it, and he wants to fit in. And then he hears, like, oh yeah, some of the slaves we're taking from this village are going to some guy named Fjolnir. And he becomes activated. He gets MK Ultra'd, and he's like, oh god, what? Say again? And he's like, yeah, they're going to Fjolnir in Iceland. And he's like, that's not where Fjolnir lives. He lives in whatever fucking place I'm from. And they're like,
actually, no, after he killed your dad, he immediately lost his kingdom because he sucks.
Yeah, he got taken over. Now he lives in a little town. It's a stretch to call it a kingdom. So he like pretends he's a slave so he can go be Fjolnir's slave, so he can be around him in order to avenge father, save mother, and kill Fjolnir. And his main sort of method of doing that, because he doesn't just like kill him right away, because like he had visions that like when I kill Fjolnir, it will have to be in a lake of fire. And so he's like, I can't kill him in his bed because that's stupid. I have to do what fate has told me because it's more badass. They would become a sick melee fight, probably. So what he generally just does for most of the time, like the runtime of the movie, is like make Fjolnir's little town more shitty.
His town sucks so bad. It is like you just start a game of Age of Empires 2, and you have your town hall and your 5 villagers. And then the Northman is like, I will never let you upgrade this to a keep. I will fuck everything up.
Dude, yes. And lucky for him, lucky for Northman, that Fjolnir's entire sort of like kingdom is like 10 huts. Because it allows him to have, you know, the plan of like, tonight I will kill 2 guys. I will kill 2 of Fjolnir's guys. Like, and that's like a huge blow because there's only like 20 guys. Like, that's 10% of all the guys just wiped out in one night.
He decimated them in
quite
one
literally
night.
Decimated them.
Yeah.
It also makes it very funny that like the Fjolnir and his family consider themselves nobility.
They wear the same rags, basically. Like everyone has the same potato burlap sack.
Like when you're a castle guy and like the slaves live in like huts very far away, and like you have fancy furs and they have rags, then it's sort of like, okay, I get what this nobility concept comes from. Like I get why you would invent that and why people would go along with it. If it's just like, you lowborn scum, you have to go to that hut, whereas I go to bed in this slightly different hut. It's like, what the, huh? What?
They're clearly like farming or something. I think they're like trying to grow dirt.
Some guy when Northman hadn't decided to pose as a slave yet, was like laughing about how Fjolnir sucks ass now and was like, he's a sheep farmer now. Ha ha ha. I didn't see any sheep. Like sheep farmers, like they actually make money because like people want wool. I didn't see any of this sheep.
Well, he's that bad at it.
The next thing you're going to want to ask of all of the films you watch, this is something that you can't let them get away with this. Obviously, you know, we covered sick melee fight, but that's not the only class out there. You're going to want a party with a with a diverse set of jobs. So there has to be someone spec'd for magic.
And there is, luckily. There is. It's the chess lady from Netflix's show Chess Lady.
Yes, it's her. The chess. She invented chess. And she shows up and she's one of the slaves going to Fjolnir's house. And the Northman talks to her because she looks like anime. So he's like, clearly you're the main character. Your eyes are so far apart. What is going on? And he calls her a spell slinger, like unprompted. Like, I don't know who told him about that. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's like how, you know, these guys, they have their sort of pagan religion, you know, their cult of Odin and what have you. Because our main guy is big into Odin. Like, he talks about Odin a lot.
He won't shut up about Odin.
Yeah. And he's like, maybe, you know, he thinks magic is real, like it's like a sort of spiritual thing. No, she knows real spells. Like she knows about.
She's an earth mage.
Magic. Yeah, you know what she is? She's a geomancer, which is an earth mage, I guess. Now that you said that, she's a geomancer for Final Fantasy. She can like make the Northmen have animal friends by like saying the right words to the fucking dirt.
Yeah, she also makes everybody go crazy with mushrooms.
Yeah, she brews a fucking potion because at one point, Fjolnir is like, "Hello, friends. 4 of our guys have died, which means we're at like half strength. So tonight, all of my guys are going to be staying up, making sure nobody fucking gets stabbed." And they get high as fuck, and so the Northmen can just run around, and they're just like, I'm too high to know what's going on tonight.
Well, one guy who ingested the mushroom just like kept stabbing himself in his own throat.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You hate to do that.
Yeah.
Another thing about magic is that if you have magic, you're going to have magical items. And that brings up the next thing that you're going to want to ask of all of the movies you're reviewing, which is there key items?
Yes. The Northman has key items, thank God. The main key item is a magical sword that you can't take out of its sheath unless it's nighttime. This is not a metaphor.
Yeah. Again, this is not, like, magic is provably real. Like, it's not his culture makes him think this. He gets told, there's a fucking magic sword you can only unsheath at night. And then he gets it at night. We'll explain more about how he gets it later on. He gets it at night. He sees Fjolnir later, and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm going to kill him. And he tries to take it out of the sheath, which he's done before. But, he doesn't realize...
It's gone now.
It's done now, and it doesn't move. He, like, literally can't do it. And I at this point was like, maybe, again, this is a visual metaphor for him believing so strongly in this. But no, nobody can take the fucking sword out in the day.
Yeah, there's a scene later when he's captured and he gets the shit beat out of him, and his sword is on the ground of his little torture hut. One of the goons sees the sword and, like, tries to unsheath it and just does a big sort of, like, Three Stooges, oh, I can't do it, to, reaffirm again that this is real magic.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, how is he going to get his sword back after he got captured? Like, clearly he's going to escape because the movie needs to happen, and also because fate said that he would fight Fjolnir at the
He gets it back because it's a shitty sword that can't be unsheathed. No one wants it. They just fucking throw it on the ground.
It's so good. It's so fucking funny. And oh god, that how he gets his sword brings us to the next point that in our rubric, which is, are there mini bosses?
We get a good mini-boss fight in this. The way he gets this sword is he has to, using a rope that used to be a snake, he climbs down into the burial mound. There's like two types of Viking buildings. There's the longhouses or burial mound.
Yeah.
So he's crawling down into the burial mound. And then, would you believe that there's a really spooky Viking corpse holding the sword? And when he goes to grab it, the boss fight starts.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough that this scene where he fights the zombie Viking is Elden Ring. Like, it's like I saw that fight before when I was playing it in Elden Ring. Like, I'm not joking here. They're straight up using weapon art. Like, they're using weapon arts, dude.
He does the Dark Soul roll. He does.
Yeah, he gets iframes. You can see the sword go right through him, but he just started the roll, so it didn't hurt.
So that's how he gets it. After he defeats the zombie Viking, it does sort of cut back to, which I believe we perceive as the actual reality of him standing in front of the corpse and taking the sword, which to me implies that obviously that cool boss fight we just saw was sort of a mental test and didn't actually happen. But here's the thing about movie magic. We saw the mini boss fight. It happened.
Yeah. Now you see, this is why all these rubric points, all these points on our checklist are questions, because you have to get a yes or no, because it would have been so easy for there to have been no mini bosses in this movie. But there was, so it's gooder now.
And mini bosses are important. What's the biggest difference between the Raid and the Raid 2 other than like a bunch of money? Mini bosses.
And like fun, like there, in in the Raid 1, there's like the main fighting guy, his brother, and then there's like also another main fighting guy. They're both sort of like co-bosses. There's no mini bosses. There's just mooks until then. In the Raid 2, you have a girl who is blind and fashionable and fights using hammers. You have her deaf brother who
you have Ness.
Yeah, who is Ness. He is Ness. He's like evil. He's Dark Ness. Mm-hmm. How Waldo has like the Dark Waldo?
Well, and even Dark... there's the Smash Brothers palette skin for Ness that is Waldo. Or that is Dark Waldo.
Shit, okay, yeah, no, he's in the movie. Like, he's in the Raid 2. That actually showed that Raid 2 shit actually segues perfectly into our next point that movies are going to have to answer yes to, which is, are there any guys in it who are the Joker? Now, Batman movies get this right away. But like the Raid 2, like it had like the two crime families who both had like very normal, like Yakuza style crime bosses who like were very serious and stoic and scary and smart. And then there's like the third crime faction where the leader is the Joker. And it makes the movie so much better.
There really isn't a Joker analog in this one, although I will say the Northman's mother ends up being a little wackier and crazier than maybe initially inferred.
Yo, actually, that's a good point. I was about to say, like, no movie's perfect. The Northman flubs it on this one. But, his mother does kind of turn into the Joker.
Yes. So
we won't spoil that part, because that part really, you got to see that part. It fucking whips. Yeah, Nicole Kidman is the mom, and she should get one of them Oscar noms for that. Probably wouldn't win, but I think it's definitely like that. That's a monologue you play on the fucking montage when you're announcing the nominees, so that people go like, "Whoa, holy shit!"
Yeah. The next one, and this is another good one. Is there a mini game?
Yes. You'll notice there's a lot of crossover between our gaming rubric and our movie rubric. This is intentional.
It's all slop. It's all content slop. But about halfway through the movie, the Northman is asked, "Hey, can you fight?" And he doesn't say anything, and it just cuts to them playing what is basically like blitzball.
It's Quidditch, but you get killed.
Yeah. Like everyone has a stick, and there's two posts on opposing sides of a field, and you have to hit a ball into it. So it's like, I guess, like rugby and lacrosse, but again, like they just kill each other.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like that as like oh, he got annihilated, like when someone gets like tackled hard in football, and like that guy got destroyed. Like, no, they die. Like, they kill each other with the sticks. Like, it's
at the end of the game,
screen.
It's like 1v1 because everyone else on the team is dead or incapacitated.
This scene, the narrative purpose of this scene is that like the little kid, like Fjolnir's new son that he had with the Northman's mother. So like the Northman's half brother. So like he hates the adult son of Fjolnir, but he like kind of has affection for his half brother. The half brother is a little kid. Is like, oh, this fucking game sucks. Everyone's dead. There should be more people. Our team should be winning. I'm gonna run out on the field because I'm the prince, and I'm gonna kick ass at this game. He doesn't, and he's about to get his head bashed in, and the Northman saves him. And so like that's the narrative purpose of the scene, but it's way longer because they need to have the mini game.
You say head bashed in, but like what was actually about to happen before the Northman intervenes is that the little kid is like laid out, and the other big dude like walks up to the kid's head like he's teeing up a golf ball and starts to swing, and then he gets tackled.
Yeah, he's about to like absolutely super soak the fucking crowd with this kid's brains. It was very funny. And that sort of leads us into our next our thing that we want to ask of our movies. The next piece of our puzzle. Is there violence that pierces the dead veil of apathy that surrounds all of us, that leads us to react to real-life mass shootings with,
For me, it was when the Northman killed two guys and chopped them up and then nailed them to the outside of a hut.
In like a funny shape.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good because they were like, did the Christians do this? I hear they worship a man nailed to a tree.
It's like, yeah, nailing to wood, Christians must have done it. And they like go up to like some scrawny slave who's just like an extra. Like, you're Christian, aren't you? Why'd you do this? And yeah, sure, he did it. I will say, though, about the fact that, a lot of movie violence, violence is so much a part of our lives. It's the air we breathe. You see low effort movie violence and you just doesn't care. Like, I will, to illustrate the apathy that surrounds us all. The other day, I was telling Joe, it's like, oh, Joe, so there's a mass shooter. Don't worry about the mass shooting. Who cares? Like it was a mass shooting, but whatever. What's important is that the police found his apartment and took a picture of his big pile of guns and ammo, and he had a poster of Yakub on the wall.
Oh, yeah, that pierced the veil for me. I was like, oh, wow, that's enough to break out of the noise.
I was wondering, like, why, if you're going to have a poster, why would it be of Yakub? He invented
It's like the
white
enemy.
people.
It's the enemy, though. Like, you have to, like, keep your eyes on the foe.
Yes. But wouldn't it be the white people? Whoever, who cares? I don't want to get too into this. Fuck. Another thing you're going to want to ask is, do people talk in this movie about rageful corpse hounds?
So, we said it before that this movie is mumbly at times, but don't worry, the important words will come through. They're going to say shit like rageful corpse hound.
Yeah, like someone will tell the Northman, like, you sure seem like a rageful corpse hound. And I'm like, oh, dope, okay. Like, I was sort of getting nervous that I understood only half of the words that he said on the boat. But now I heard those words, and the quality of those 3 words has like all forgiven. No complaints here.
And let's also just sort of redirect to the chanting of the character's purpose at the beginning. You know, rageful corpse hound slots beautifully below my revenge story that he repeats again and again.
Yeah, I will kill you, Fjolnir. And what kind of guy would kill Fjolnir?
A rageful corpse hound.
Yeah, ding. We got it, folks. Now, a lot of these have been very Northman specific, which may make you wonder, like, is this really a rubric that you can use universally on all films? Yes. Yes, it is. Don't think about it. But the next 2 points, these are sort of more generic. These are things that you really do think all movies and all genres need to have these things. First of all, are there freaks?
You gotta have freaks. You just gotta. You gotta have something to gawk at.
Yeah, you want to see a guy you've never seen before. So many times you see a movie and all of the guys are guys that you could walk out your front door, you could see all of them in a 1-block radius. That's boring. I could go outside and walk a 1-block radius if I wanted to see that. I want to see some motherfuckers I could never see. And buddy, we got them.
We get to see a nice little time skip freak situation because when the Northman was a North boy and his father was killed, he is running away from his uncle and his uncle's men. And one of his uncle's men grabs him and is about to kill him, but in a quick action...
A quick time event.
He fucking crushes the quick time event. And he cuts off this guy's nose and gets away. Time skip, there's a guy now walking around town who has a hideous snout from that wound.
It's so good because he's wearing one of them old-time helmets that has the little fucking flap of metal that goes down over the nose, so he looks
And it
normal.
covers it perfectly.
And then he turns to the side so you get the fucking side view, and you're like, oh, it's no nose guy!
William Dafoe's character, I would characterize as a freak, but especially because later in the movie
he becomes extra freak. He also get freaks up in the time skip. I would say any character Willem Dafoe plays is freak, but yeah, he later in order to learn where the night sword is, motherfucking Northman finds a third freak who is just like this old dude who lives like nowhere. Like he's just out and around. And he's like, I know a bunch of spells and shit, dude. I know about magic. You want to know fucking about the threads of fate? That's magic. So I got that like covered. And he's like, oh, you want to really hear about some magical fucking information? Check this out. And he's had like a little thing with a sheet over it the whole time. And he pulls the sheet off. What's there, Joe?
It's William Dafoe's head, and he mentions, and this was a nice little touch, he mentions that Fjolnir killed William Dafoe and like cut out his tongue, ripped out his eyes, and I think like cut off his ears too. And this other crazy guy was like, don't worry, I put new eyes on him, I gave him a new tongue, I fixed his ears, and he's gonna talk to you now.
Yeah, and he puts this little mummy head down on the ground, and buddy, does it talk? Yeah. It tells them where the fucking head. It tells them where the fucking sword is. Another the magic's provably real. It just happens. Like it happens, and it's proof. So yeah, we got a big lineup of freaks. I love it. You can't ask for more. Another thing that you're gonna want from all your movies is you've heard about special effects, Joe. How sometimes you can just like the magic of film is that you can put visual things on screen that just amaze and astonish just by their very presence. That just the fact that you've laid your eyes on it is amazing.
This is actually the first time I'm hearing this, but I'm interested.
Yeah, well, it's been noted by Elliot Kalin of the Flophouse podcast that the two most effective special effects that there are also happen to be the two cheapest, namely blood and nudity. We know there's blood because there's sick melee fight. So the next question is there nudity?
There's butts only, and like butts don't fucking count anymore. And the reason butts don't count anymore is that because there's been horny inflation. So like a butt is now the same as cleavage.
Yeah. Like a nude butt is nothing to me. Butts only are nothing to me now. It's shameful, honestly. It's cowardly is what it is. Like this is really the one I think hard miss that the Northman has. Because there was like I was promised a nude sword duel melee fight between nude guys. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, like there's no way you can get around that without having the dicks flopping around. Like there's no hiding it.
Right.
Like you have to, you got to see them. Like they're going to have to go all out. And commerce kills art, folks, because I learned that Robert Eggers intentionally didn't show any dicks because he wants the movie to be able to be played on airplanes so that it can make more money.
I didn't know that there was like rating concerns on airplanes beyond the normal stuff. Like there's like you can see an R-rated movie if there's no dick.
Yeah. I watched fucking Atomic Blonde on an airplane. The Charlize Theron John Wick knockoff that came out right after John Wick. And I recall thinking it was kind of a boring movie because like the spy story that was like the main plot I didn't give a shit about and it wasn't compelling. There was like one or two John Wick fights that were like really sick, but like there were very few compared to a John Wick or a The Raid, like a straight on action movie. This was like a spy movie that they put John Wick fights in because they're like those are hot these days. Choreograph one or two and teach them to Charlize. Apparently like most of the movie was like that Charlize Theron and some other girl were like constantly fucking and having like explicit sex scenes. None of that was in the airplane cut. So it was the boringest movie I ever saw. So they do cut that shit out, even though it is like R-rated, and they said it was R-rated for the airplane. They didn't got it.
They definitely, because like the reason the dicks would be out would be the volcano fight. So if you cut that out, you're a monster.
Yeah, but like the glow of the volcano means they're in silhouette most of the time, so you don't see the dicks. And then I later learned, I looked up a fucking article about the making of the Northman. Turns out they were wearing briefs. The actors were wearing briefs when they shot the scene, and they.
Didn't they have to add like dangly balls though, because there has to be something?
Yeah. It looked too. They looked too much like they were Ken dolls.
Ken dolls.
So they had to CGI in like a little bulge to the silhouette. But like, that's an insane amount of work, of post-production work to add to that scene. When
just
it is
hang dong. Just hang dong.
Hanging dong is the easiest thing in the world. Have you ever taken if you have a dong and have you taken a shower, you've hung dong, wasn't it easy for you? They could have done that. Come on. Try. Ugh. It's shameful.
So let me put on my really smart guy cap for a second. So for a movie like this, which is historical, the one thing you don't want with something set so historically distant is like anything resembling modern sensibilities or ideology.
Yeah. Like, here's an example of a movie that blows it for this. And this is a movie that actually really whips and I like a lot. Kingdom of Heaven, Ridley Scott movie about Jerusalem in some fucking century way back. The director's cut famously is the good version, and I haven't seen the theatrical cut. The director's cut whips ass. It's super good. But the thing that really, the one major flaw in this movie is that the main guy at one point basically turns directly to the camera and says, damn, all these Christians and Muslims fighting each other in Jerusalem. They just can't get along. It seems like they all hate each other. But what's the reason? It's almost like there is no reason. In fact, now that I think about it, isn't it true that Christians and Muslims are both equally good? I'm woke. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that's what like I think. But like, buddy, there's no way you think that. And there's certainly no way you as like a nobleman are saying it out loud and not getting killed for it. Like that doesn't, and like it takes you out of the movie because it's just like, I thought we were in past time. Why is he telling me like it'd be the same as him saying like, wow, McDonald's grilled chicken McWrap at 250 calories is both $1 and pound bargain. Like it's true, but you wouldn't think that.
The good thing about the Northman though is that he feels like an alien with the sword. Like his motivations feel so distant from like my handle on the world. Like his goal is to die in a volcano. And he thinks it's like the coolest thing ever.
Like he hears his father saying like, shit, I'm scared that I might not die in battle and I'll become an old man and thus I won't get to Valhalla. Like I really need to die in battle. Like I need to do it so bad. And he's just like, dying in battle. Hell yeah. Okay. I love that. And like there comes a point in the movie where like some stuff comes to light and you sort of see his rampage, like his deadly killing rampage on Fjolnir's village as like not a great thing. Kind of like a really evil and cruel just waste of life. He's just killing guys and making everyone miserable. And
he's like, hell yeah, though, it was so good. I loved it.
And any modern viewer is like, man, he really messed up. His life went off the rails. And no, at the end of the movie, when he is in a situation that any modern viewer would be like, damn, that sucks. What a terrible way to spend your life. He is just like, no notes. Perfect.
Yes.
And like that's because I mean that's the movie magic for you. You want to, and that's the same thing as I want to see some freaks. He's ideologically a freak to me, and like he just really he never learns because like to him, the thing he learned was like it's good to get revenge and die in battle. Like it's better than I fucking thought, and I thought it would be great.
Yeah. He also really likes when you touch the inside of someone's guts and you see your lineage of all your kings.
Yeah, you see Yggdrasil and all of your family is hanging off the branches.
Yeah, like that's cool and not terrifying.
Yeah, he's like, dope, fuck, sounds good. Hell yeah. Another thing that you're going to want in your movie is you're going to want to ask, when the movie is over, would it be reasonable to assume that I could write down the names of at least 4 of the main characters?
I keep calling him the Northman because I don't fucking remember his name.
When at the end of this movie, I tried to think to myself, what were the names of the characters? I had 3 that I was sure of. 1, Fjolnir, because the kid said it 10 times in a row. And he didn't say it like in a sentence with like natural speaking tone where it sort of gets like rushed over.
He said it like a mantra.
Yeah, like it's like my podcast co-host is Joe. Like that's how he said it. So we knew it was Fjolnir. Second name that I remembered, Olga. The chess lady's name was Olga.
I do not remember that ever being said. Yeah. I believe you, but I she was just chess lady to me.
No, she was Olga. And the third character whose name I recalled was the little kid, the Northman's half-brother, whose name was Connor. And I noted that because I'm like, finally a name that I can fucking like grasp upon hearing it the first time. Connor's a normal name. I later looked on Wikipedia in preparation for this episode to look at what the names actually are. Motherfucker's name is Gunnar. It's not Connor.
So you got 2 out of 5.
Yeah, that's
So the Northman chunks this one is our point.
Yeah, no, nothing's perfect. Another thing that all movies have to ask is, does the main character behave morally at all times? This is actually the most important one. If a character ever behaves immorally, the movie is trash.
So the thing with the Northman is that at no point does he try to stop 9/11.
Yeah, it's bullshit. This movie,
he doesn't warn anyone.
The movie's fucking terrible. I will say though, like, the movie does waste no time on a serious tip. It wastes no time making you think that there's going to be morality here, or at least modern morality, because like we mentioned that the first thing that he does when he gets Shippuden to adulthood is he fights that little palisaded village and kills everybody. As soon as the battle's over, the first thing we see is like all the old people and children get put into a big house and then they light it on fire. And it's like it's not like a look at this horror. It's just like, it's what they're doing in the background.
It's a living.
Yep. That's how it is in Northman world. Oh, fuck. Goddamn. And so I think there's one more thing that we're going to want to ask of films to determine their quality. Would you do me the honor?
I'd be happy to. Does the main character display Goku-like behavior?
No, I thought for most of the movie that the answer for this was going to be no, which was going to be devastating because I was really enjoying it. But if the answer was no, then objectively, The Northman would be a bad movie. And I would have to tell everyone it was bad. I would have to write in my Letterboxd review, this movie sucks. And it would devastate me. Because, like, he doesn't love fighting for itself. He loves fighting for getting revenge. It's a means to an end. It has to be the end. So, like, fucked up. 2, he can't cast spells. So that's fucked. He can't fly. There's nothing Goku. He doesn't get his driver's license. It's striking out big time. But then at the 11th hour.
Yeah, I don't want to shock anyone, but he has sex with Olga.
Yeah, and
using his penis.
And she reveals to him, I'm with child. I'm going to have your children. And you're going to be a father.
And she has like a little cut on her neck. And he touches it. And because of reasons that have been established before, if you touch a wound, you get to see the family tree. And he sees the family tree of his 2 children, a son and a daughter.
Yeah, and he sees that the daughter is like the maiden king, which like one of some fucking seer told him, like, yeah, you're gonna have a maiden king in your lineage and fight Fjolnir in a lake of fire. And he's like, damn, really? And so he's like, oh shit, it's happening. And so he instantly is like, wow, I just touched your blood and I got an incredible vision. I gotta bounce. And he becomes an absentee father. And I'm like, all right, we got Goku. The movie's good.
He finds out that he's going to be a dad and decides he has to die 30 seconds later. Like, they're on a boat when he discovers this. He doesn't even make them pilot it to shore. He just jumps out and starts swimming.
Yeah, because they were like, you know what? This revenge shit, it's kind of costing a lot, and I don't know if it's really worth it. Let's just chill out. Let's just escape, live our lives. And then when he sees the children on the fucking Yggdrasil in his mind, he's like, oh, damn, you know what? It just occurred to me. Fjolnir might kill my kids. I gotta go. And it's like, what a shitty fucking excuse. He's just like, I actually decided revenge rules. I was wrong to get on the boat. Bye-bye. And he never sees his children again. Goku style, baby.
But then he has the sickest fight on the volcano, which we've established, like, it would be an awful death by any sort of, like, modern perspective. But, like, when he's on that volcano dying, he is seriously like, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Like, if he didn't, when he struck the fatal blow, if he did not also get struck a fatal blow himself, he would have been like, fuck. No fatal blow. This sucks.
All right, so we've gone through this just laborious rubric. What's the final take here? Is it good?
Yeah, it kicks ass.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Like, if I can... you talking about Golden Kamuy ages and ages ago, the manga? And you mentioned in that episode that John Keogh, a sicko homie, mentioned to you that Golden Kamuy was, quote, a real night at the movies. Now, we hadn't had a night in the movies for years and years. We forgot what it was like. And this is it.
I knew I was going to have a night at the movies when he caught that spear.
Yeah, that was... Jesus Christ. That was the coolest shit I ever saw in my life. He caught it! I was so sure it was just going to, like, land near someone or maybe, like, murk an extra, and then that's why they start running. No, he's just like, whoop, headshot, bam, sick melee fight. More movies need that.
It's just so funny that his ultimate revenge on his uncle's kingdom is literally just like 30 guys he fucks up. the stakes aren't low to him because it's his life's purpose, but like from the viewing distance that we watch this, it's hysterical at how low the stakes are because they basically just have 2 huts and a big patch of dirt.
And that's the kingdom.
And that's it.
I just remembered this. I told you I was like reading interviews with Robert Eggers and looking at articles and stuff about the movie because I was interested in it and want to know more. I saw a quote from Robert Eggers, writer and director of the movie. His previous 2 movies are The Witch and The Lighthouse, and he said a quote in one interview which is completely accurate. Like, there's no lie or exaggeration in it, but it just the way he said it is the funniest shit in the world to me, which was, and I'm going to get it not exactly because I don't remember the exact wording, but it was very close to this, which was, The Witch and The Lighthouse were both at a scale where I didn't need to focus on them being entertaining. And The Northman, I wanted it to be entertaining. And I loved The Witch and The Lighthouse, but he is so on point there. They are like nights at the library. Like, they're for your brain.
Yes.
The Northman is for hooting.
It also helps that, like, the choice to have the uncle lose the kingdom immediately is funny because now the new kingdom can be like when you start a new level in Roller Coaster Tycoon, just completely flat, brown garbage.
Oh, I just thought up another rubric that we need to judge movies by, which is, does the movie make Joe text you dumbass questions the next day? Because you texted me the next day, why did the Valkyrie have braces?
Yes, she did. She did have braces.
The Valkyrie did not have braces. It's grooves carved into the teeth, full of paint. It's from Viking. It really happened. There's proof.
They read to me as braces. Like, the entire purpose of their religion is to die in battle. So a big lady with braces drags you through heaven's door. Like, that's what they believe.
And I guess so. Folks, can you deny it? I sure can't. I personally would recommend, if you're okay with going to a theater, and if you're not, makes sense. There's a pandemic. Go see The Northman. It whips sack. If only there was a sack in it. That's really the main, to me, the main flaw. That really is a mark of cowardice.
Maybe there could be like a George Lucas thing, but for putting like the dicks and balls in.
Yeah, they get the fucking team that changed the design for Sonic to like 3D model all the dicks and balls.
Yeah, I mean that team did good work, so I think they could probably, a dick would be easier. Yeah,
fast turnaround too.
Yeah.
Shit. I think that's all the time we got for Anime Sickos. Thank y'all for listening. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.